Toy Island is not everybody's favorite master toy partner for Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, it's mine, but please don't roast me. It's the underlooked and odd one out when you mention Sonic Master Toy Partner. I mean, Restoris is known for their amazing adventure figures, and Jazzwares is praised for the articulation of their figures, and also the large span of characters they made. Tomy is known for their high quality plushes and good scope on their figures, and Jakks Pacific is known for their game accurate figures. And then there's Toy Island, with their weird and off-model figures. But even though these aren't the best looking Sonic products, it didn't stop them from making a lot of stuff. Of course, we have the figures, then inflatables, and then school supplies. And I thought it was weird that Jazzwares made a CD boombox. So in today's video, we're gonna look at this weird toy line and see if it's really that bad. So without further ado, let's start with the figures. In 2000, shortly after Restoris' line, Toy Island released their Sonic Adventure figures. They first made 5 figures, being Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Big, and Eggman, along with accessories. Sonic came with a yellow and blue Chaos Emerald along with 2 rings. Oh, and before I forget, all these figures had magnets in their feet, so Sonic was actually able to use a snowboard. Wait, so does that mean... Tails came with the same 2 Chaos Emeralds as Sonic, along with a little Chow, along with 2 rings, and removable tails which you can take off and put back on the figure. And you were able to wind up the tails so they would spin like he was running. Next is Knuckles, and he's the most lacking figure, however. He only came with a blue Chaos Emerald and a red Chaos Emerald along with 2 rings and an empty item box. Now in my opinion, they should have included the Master Emerald with Knuckles, but hey, what do I know. Big came with, of course, Froggy and a fishing pole, along with 2 rings, a red Chaos Emerald, and a green Chaos Emerald. And lastly, Eggman, which is kind of a steal honestly. You got the main figure and then a smaller Kiki figure, which is pretty much 2 in 1. And you got a bomb, 2 rings, and a blue and yellow Chaos Emerald. So the accessories are good, but how about the scope and articulation? Well, I'm glad you asked, little Timmy. Sonic is one of the better looking figures, but that's not to say he's amazing. Tails is the most goofy looking one though. Knuckles is decent, but like Sonic, it's not amazing. Big is one of the better looking ones. Same with Eggman. The articulation of all the figures is 5 points, except for Eggman and Tails that have 6 points if you include the tails. And last, the packaging. On the top, there's a Sonic Adventure logo along with a piece of Sonic artwork of him looking away. And then on the bottom, it shows the character's name along with character specific artwork. And then on the back, it shows all the figures along with the text saying collect them all. Now, how does this compare to the first wave of Restoris' Sonic Adventure figures? Let me know in the comments, I'm interested in seeing what you guys think. But just like the big Restoris figure, Toy Island did the same thing with these. These are the 10-inch talking Sonic figures. They only made Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, so sadly there's no 10-inch Eggman. All the figures came with stands. Sonic had a blue one, Tails had a yellow, and Knuckles had a red. And before we look at the voice lines, let's look at their articulation. Sonic had 5 points, Tails had 6, and then Knuckles had 4. So let's see the actual voice lines, starting with Sonic.
Oh yeah! This is happening! Ready to roll, champ? Let's go!
Come on, Sonic! We need to get busy! We did it!
Time to make a house call. Whoa, that was incredible! I've never seen anything like it!
Overall, these are just the same as the 5-inch figures, but now they talk. But now, the last Sonic Adventure toys that they made are the bendable figures. I'm gonna rate these like how I did in the 90s Tomy Sonic figures. So let's start with Sonic is pretty good, although the ears are a little long, 9 out of 10. Knuckles is amazing, and since I didn't find anything wrong with this, 10 out of 10. Yeah, I'm just gonna save time and say these are all good. In fact, I have to say, these are very underrated and deserve more attention. They also made a 4-pack of Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. Along with that, they included a red and yellow Chaos Emerald along with several rings. And that's all for the adventure figures. Before we move on to Sonic X, let's look at the cancel plushes. These are very bad. These seem to be very bad versions of the Sega Prize SA1 plushes. But to be honest, I would have loved to see these release, even if they look really bad. And wait, were they planning on making Big? But hey, that's just a theory. A Sega Sonic guy theory. That does not roll off the tongue. Well anyway, let's move on to Sonic X. In 2004, Toy Island started making their Sonic X figures, and what a start. Just selling them again with less accessories. So that's why we're gonna skip this and go to the next wave, and you gotta be kidding me. They re-released these again and try to make them different by adding mini keychains. The keychains themselves are good, but why did they re-release these figures again for the second time? The only notable thing is Eggman came with a cheese keychain. So all my opinions have changed. And thankfully, the next wave improved with actual different figures. We have Sonic, Shadow, Cream, Rouge, and Chris. Sonic has a way better scope with it actually looking like Sonic. He came with a blue and yellow Chaos Emerald. And lastly, Sonic has 5 points of articulation. Shadow looks good, although his eyes are pretty spaced out, so he has a weird stare. Shadow came with a red and yellow Chaos Emerald, and he has 5 points of articulation. Cream is the best looking figure, and honestly, compared to the same level as the Jakks one. Cream came with a cheese minifigure, and it looks pretty good. And she also came with a red Chaos Emerald. And Cream has 5 points, and Cheese has 1 point of articulation. Rouge is decent, but I do think the Jax one's better. She came with a blue and red Chaos Emerald, and she has 5 points of articulation. And lastly, there's Chris. The face is kind of goofy and the hair is kind of off. He came with a blue and yellow Chaos Emerald, and he only has 3 points of articulation. And that does it for Series 2. This, by far, is the best wave they made, but sadly, the quality starts to go down after this. So let's look at the Megabot Series 1. The main gimmick of this set is each figure has a part of a bigger figure. So once you bought all the figures in the set, you could build a Megabot. All the figures aren't that good, due to them having bad sculpt and poor articulation. They had to replace Amy because she looked that bad. So this is definitely a step down from the set before. And at this point, you can tell Toy Island is running out of ideas with the space fighters. These figures are pretty bad and weird since the characters never wore these in the show. The only thing cool about this set is the missile wrist robot, but they could have made different characters like Supersonic and Shadow and Cosmo and heck, even Chris's grandpa. But sadly, things get even worse with these. The Metal Force line, and these are just bad. They re-released the Space Fighter figures and took away the helmets and the missile wrist figure, and then repainted them and sold it as new. At this point, we could tell Toy Island was running out of money, so they made the Superposers. And yes, Jazzwares did not make these first, Toy Island did. These 6-inch figures have 20 points of articulation, and these figures are pretty good. But then they turned around and re-released the Sonic Adventure talking figures, and sadly, these no longer talk. But what's cool is this is the only Toy Island piece of Sonic merchandise I have, and yeah, the only difference is the packaging. Oh yeah, and these don't have the display base. And the last toys they made were just re-releases of the bendable figures, but now they made Shadow. And the figure is good, just brought down by the fact that the rest of these already came out years before. And they did have box packs too. This one has Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Knuckles. This one has Sonic, Tails, Amy, Knuckles, and a gold Sonic. Not Super Sonic, a gold Sonic. This one's just the first one, but now there's Eggman. And this one's just the first one again, but now with Shadow. And that does it for the toys. So let's look at the other random stuff they made. Now, I'm pretty sure some of these were canceled, but I don't know if any did, so let's start. Do you have a hard time organizing your desk? Well, have no fear with the Sonic Desk Organizer. How does this organize your desk? That's a good question. It looks like school's coming, and wait, you don't have a ruler. Then comes the character slide ruler. And wait, you also forgot to buy scissors? Well, here are the scissors with character case. And bro, you forgot your pencil toppers too? Well, here's your Sonic pencil toppers. We have Sonic, Eggman, Knuckles, Big, Tails, and Chow. And okay, why do you keep forgetting stuff? But here's your deluxe desktop set. We specialize in Sonic, Big, Knuckles, and Tails. And you also need erasers, but don't want these boring ones? Well, Timmy, here are the 3D erasers. Oh, and it looks like you forgot your colored pencils. So here's the collectible colored pencils. And yeah, that's all the school supplies they made. But they also made inflatable things, so here they are. They made a 48-inch Sonic bot bag, so if you want to put Sonic, here. They also made a Knuckles and an Eggman. And lastly, here's a small Sonic chair. Then for Sonic X, they made another bot bag. Now before I end the video, I want to bring up this. This is the 15th anniversary statue that Toy Island made. Only 2,500 of these were made, and I gotta say, this is actually cool. But hey, what an end to a strange toy line. Toy Island is for sure a strange company that made Sonic figures. It's a little sad that I kinda went downhill in quality at the end. But hey, it's still my favorite Sonic toy line, for now at least. And hopefully you learned something about this toy line. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, then consider subscribing. It's free and helps me a lot. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.